In the wild, absurdity often equates to survival. Welcome to the wild world of politics. Just as the peacock flares its extravagant plumage to woo a mate, or the pufferfish inflates to an absurd size to deter predators, politicians too participate in this dance of the absurd. They prance around the stage of public discourse, their policies as vibrant and exaggerated as the peacock's feathers, their promises as inflated as the pufferfish in distress. The political arena, much like the natural world, is a spectacle of survival and dominance. It's an ecosystem where the surreal becomes the norm, where the bizarre is commonplace, and where absurdity, like a brightly coloured warning on a poisonous frog, is often a sign of power and influence. So, as we delve into this world, remember, the absurdity isn't a deviation from the norm, it's the norm itself. Now, let us embark on a journey through the surreal landscape of a political campaign. In the animal kingdom, every creature has a unique call. In politics, it's the campaign promise, the mating call of the political animal, if you will. These promises are often outlandish, extravagant, and on occasion bordering on the fantastical. Take, for instance, the candidate who pledged a unicorn for every citizen. A noble cause, indeed, if only the existence of these mythical creatures wasn't a hurdle. But why let reality get in the way of a good campaign promise? After all, who wouldn't want a personal unicorn to trot down to the local supermarket on? Then we have the candidate who proposed a national holiday to mourn the loss of socks that mysteriously vanish in the washing machine. A moment of silence, please, for all the lost soulmates. A day off work to grieve. Perhaps not the most practical of promises, but it certainly tapped into a universal domestic conundrum. And let's not forget the candidate who vowed to build a wall around the Bermuda Triangle. A drastic measure indeed aimed at preventing further disappearances. One can't help but wonder about the logistics. Would there be border control? And who, pray tell, would be footing the bill? But wait, there's more. There was the promise of free Wi-Fi for all houseplants because apparently photosynthesis is so last season. Then there was the pledge to introduce mandatory siestas, much to the delight of sleep-deprived citizens everywhere. And who could overlook the proposal to banish Mondays from the calendar altogether? Now that's a candidate who knows their audience. Each promise more outlandish than the last. Each pledge pushing the boundaries of believability. But that's the beauty of campaign promises, isn't it? They're not just about what's possible, but also about what's imaginable. They're an invitation to dream, to hope, to laugh. And so the game of political one-upmanship escalates, with each promise more ludicrous than the last. Much like a peacock's vibrant display, a political campaign ad is a spectacle designed to captivate and convince. It's a veritable zoo where candidates preen, strut, and occasionally wrestle with imaginary alligators. In the wild, the alligator is a formidable beast, a creature of primal strength and aggression. It's a symbol of fear and respect. So, in the surreal world of campaign ads, it's only fitting that a candidate would choose to wrestle with a CGI version of this formidable creature. The spectacle is nothing short of bizarre, yet oddly compelling. The candidate, dressed in a tailored suit, grapples with a digital reptile, showcasing their supposed determination and fearlessness. It's a wild dance, a testament to the absurd lengths some politicians will go to secure a vote. And then there's the candidate who promises to personally deliver pizzas to every household each Friday. At first blush, it might seem like a strange and even laughable promise, yet there's a certain charm to it. It's a promise that speaks to the heart, to the simple pleasures of life that we can all relate to. After all, who wouldn't want a piping hot pizza delivered straight to their door by a would-be leader of the nation? But let us not forget the underlying message here. These ads are not about alligators or pizzas. They're about the candidates themselves, about the image they want to project. They want to show that they're strong, that they're down to earth, that they're just like us. It's a game of perception, a carefully choreographed dance designed to win our hearts and our votes. So as we sit back and watch these over-the-top campaign ads, let's remember what they really are. They're not just advertisements, they're performances, they're spectacles, they're political theatre. And in this theatre, the candidate is both the actor and the director, choreographing their own narrative in an attempt to captivate their audience. In the end, it's all about the show. The grander, the better. In the world of politics, speeches serve as the mating calls designed to attract their target voters. Let's delve into the fascinating world of exaggerated speeches. Picture, if you will, a grand stage set against the backdrop of 1,000 fluttering flags and banners. On this stage, our political candidates stand, armed with their weapon of choice, words. But not just any words. These are carefully selected, meticulously arranged, and dramatically delivered. These are words that echo with grandiosity, words that paint vivid images of utopia, words that promise a tomorrow brighter than 1,000 suns. Now imagine the candidate, poised at the podium, eyes twinkling with conviction. The first words tumble out, resounding across the auditorium. A bold promise, a daring challenge, a call to arms. The crowd hangs on to every syllable, every pause, every inflection. They cheer, they clap, they gasp in awe. The candidate feeding off this energy grows more animated, more dramatic. The candidate's hands weave through the air, creating invisible paintings of grand visions and lofty dreams. There's a rhythm to their movements, a poetry to their gestures. A pointed finger here, a clenched fist there, a sweeping hand across the audience. Each a calculated move, each a part of the choreographed performance. And then the dramatic pause. The candidate stops mid-sentence, eyes scanning the audience, allowing the words to sink in. The room goes silent, the anticipation palpable. And then, with a sudden burst of energy, they continue, their voice rising and falling, ebbing and flowing with the tide of their narrative. The audience, caught in this verbal dance, responds with a cacophony of cheers and applause. Each speech is a performance, a spectacle, a display of verbal prowess and theatrical skill. It's a game of persuasion, a battle of words, a dance of rhetoric. The candidates, like seasoned performers, understand this all too well. With every exaggerated promise, every dramatic pause, every sweeping gesture, they play to the gallery, they woo their voters, they stake their claim. With every word and gesture, they vie for the approval of their audience, much like a bird of paradise performing its intricate courtship dance. In the end, the political landscape is not unlike the natural world, filled with absurdity and spectacle. Imagine, if you will, the flamboyant peacock strutting about, showing off its vibrant plumage to attract a mate. Now, picture a politician, similarly adorned in a brightly coloured tie, delivering grandiose promises with the same intent to attract supporters. Just as the peacock's display is all about illusion and distraction, so too is the politician's campaign. Their vibrant plumage, or in this case, their polished speeches and extravagant promises, are designed to distract from the harsh realities of governance and decision-making. Consider the chameleon, a creature that changes its colours to blend in with its surroundings, a master of deception. Now think of a politician changing their stance on key issues to blend in with the changing opinions of their constituents. Both employ the same strategy, survival through adaptation. Now let's look at the absurdity of the mating rituals in the animal kingdom. The male bowerbird constructs elaborate structures adorned with brightly coloured objects to impress the female. Similarly, politicians construct elaborate campaign ads filled with symbolic imagery and patriotic music, all in an attempt to woo voters. In the animal kingdom, these displays of absurdity are a matter of survival. In politics, it's not so different. Politicians must stand out, they must adapt, they must woo their constituents or risk being voted out of office. The absurdity, the spectacle, it's all part of the game. As we've seen, the world of politics mirrors the natural world in its absurdity. But there's a key difference. In the natural world, these displays are a matter of life and death. In politics, they're a matter of votes and power. In the wild world of politics, absurdity is not just a spectacle, but a survival strategy. So, what can we learn from this journey through the wild world of politics? Well, it appears that our political landscape has more in common with a monkey circus than we'd care to admit. The chest thumping, the fruit throwing, the incessant chattering, it's all there, isn't it? In the grand scheme of things, perhaps our politicians could take a leaf from the book of the humble honeybee. No grandstanding, no empty promises, just a straightforward commitment to the hive. Or maybe they could learn from the straight-talking cuttlefish, a creature that, despite its name, doesn't cut corners when it comes to communication. But alas, we mustn't forget that politics, like nature, is a survival of the fittest. And in this jungle, it seems the most colourful parrots often get the most attention. And remember, in the grand theatre of politics, the best way to enjoy the show is with a healthy dose of humour.